First of all, we're going to have our secretary's report from Chris Biedenbaugh, and you'll find that in the back of your booklet.
Hello, I don't know if you had the opportunity or not to read last year's minutes. They are in the back of your course handout, booklet, conference booklet. There we go. We need to approve the minutes. Does anybody have anything that I need to add or something that's incorrect you'd like to correct? Okay. Then we can. Okay.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes? Okay. Can you give me your name? Ann Prada makes a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Give me a second.
Can you remember that name? Do I have a second? Jana Jones seconds. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. By the way, you have a voting card in there. You can hold that voting card up. Okay. The minutes are accepted as read or approved. All right. And now Janice Robson, how do you say it? Robson is going to do the treasurer's report.
Okay. As of today, we have in our cash check-in $497,098.27. And our savings money market account, we have $13,701.12 with a total assets of $510,799.39. Our total revenues are $84,901.75, and our total expenses are $51,149.09. So we have a net gain of $33,752,066. And then our budget for the 2017 year will be approved by the board at a later time and respectively submitted by Janice Robson, your treasurer.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the president's report, and I kind of did part of that this morning, but I do want to officially thank our conference committee and Tim Odegaard. They've done such a wonderful job working with the hotel and getting everything set up and running smoothly. If you see them, please thank him because he has done a fabulous, fabulous job. I believe today our conference is full. Don't know what the numbers look like for tomorrow, but I think it's been so far very successful. We have some special guests that I'd like to recognize. I did kind of recognize the ALTA chapters, but I do want you to know that we have a photographer here. And after we get through with our general business meeting, if you want a picture of the people in your chapters that came, we're going to have pictures right over here. So you can just get your people together, get all your peeps together, and get over there and line up, and then our photographer will be over there. Do we have any past presidents of ALTA here? I know we do. Kay Peterson, stand if you're a past president. Nancy Kaufman was here. Where is she? Karen Averett, Nancy Kaufman, Helen Masick, Barbara Fox. Okay, we want to get your pictures after the business meeting all together, a group picture. So please, again, meet over here. And I wanted to recognize them. The MSLIC board. If you're on the MSLIC board, would you please stand? I know we have the president of MSLIC here, Kay Peterson. And if you are a course director, please stand. An MSLIC course director. All right. Very, very pleased that you're here. Thank you. And then the Alliance Board, we have that president here also, Kay Peterson. And if you're on the Alliance Board, please stand. These people do so much work, and it's all volunteer for no pay. Thank you very much. The MSLIC Board and we'll recognize the ALTA Board. Well, we're going to have the new ALTA Board of Directors sworn in, but if you're on the ALTA Board of Directors, would you please stand? We didn't all kind of sit at the same place, but these ladies and gentlemen have really done so much to help me in my job as president for the first year, and I want to thank you personally very, very much. I want to thank all the exhibitors that are exhibiting today, and they contributed to the raffle. Thank you so much. Please, I think everybody is visiting the exhibits because it was real crowded when I went in there a little bit ago. So that's good. Be sure you do visit those exhibits. And let's see. I don't want to get into somebody else's report, but I think that's all I have to say in my report. Tim, do you have any idea about the numbers? I know Tim's not, we don't require him to do anything other than just make sure this conference is going, but he does have to speak. But I told him he didn't have to do a report.
Thank you for that.
No, you don't.
So the numbers for the day, fresh off the hot prints, is 387 attendees today that are all people here registered for the conference. So we've also been fortunate to have around 21 different people here at the exhibits booths as well. And we've had a really good turnout. We'll have roughly 275 people with us continuing tomorrow. We'll have a few people, about 12, who'll be Saturday only people for doing it. The plan is to have, to move us back into April, the end of April again for the conference next year. We're going to hammer down those dates very soon, looking at, when all the different kind of holidays and stuff is happening. And we'll still be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for the conference again. So that's what we're going to do for next year. So thank you guys so much for everything.
All right, and Lynn Fitzhugh is going to come up now and give us our public relations report.
Hello, everyone. ALTA continues to hope that we are growing across the country. We know we are, but as such, we would like to see more ALTA recognition and branding. And there was an article in this last newsletter. If you haven't seen it, I hope you'll all take time to read it, making a suggestion as to how we all list our credentials so that they are always presented in the same manner. Just like with ASHA, you see the credentials for a speech pathologist, and you know that those credentials represent a very reputable organization. We hope to do the same thing by listing our ALTA credentials in the same manner, which would be your name, your degree, your ALTA membership, and if you are an instructor, attached to your ALTA membership level would be your -ICALP or -QI. So go back and take a look at that article if you have any questions, or feel free to contact us if you have any questions about your particular credentials. Most of you have already seen an email with an ALTA survey. In February, Jana appointed an ad hoc survey committee made up of myself, Jean Kolner, Margie Gellis, and Tim Odegaard. Our first most pressing bit of information we wanted feedback from you about was this conference. Primarily, we want to know what you think of holding the conference in other parts of the country. We have a lot of members who are outside of Texas who are unable to travel to get here. This is not to take the place of having a conference in Dallas, but just to look at moving the conference around. ALTA is growing as a national organization, and we need a national presence. We also wanted to investigate what parts of the country you would be interested in holding a conference in. And we also are very, very interested in the possibility of joining with the other members of the Alliance, who are IMSLC and the Academy of Orton Gillingham Practitioners, in holding an Alliance conference. So we've had pretty good response. Not all of you have responded yet, so please, if you haven't, go back and check your email. We still would like to hear from you. And we will be reporting to you on what those results are. Our survey committee will continue our work because we want to know more about what you're thinking, what you care about, and how this board can serve you better. So we will be sending out a general membership survey probably at the end of this summer. Our goal in this is we want to serve you. We want to know what's important to you. We want to know what your needs are. We want to see Alto be a stronger organization and see continued growth across the country. So thank you so much for participating in this survey.
And I'd like to say something. This is what I was going to say before, but I didn't want to jump into Lynn's report. We've thought long and hard about our conference. We are a national organization, and in order for us to grow and market ourselves as a national organization, we feel very strongly that we need to start moving our conference around. So we're looking at several different things. It's going to cause us to make some changes in the way we do things. We're going to be planning our conferences like 2 years out instead of just at the end of 1 year. Okay, now we'll think about next year. We just can't do that anymore. We've got to do more forward planning, and Tim brought that to our attention. So we are looking at going ahead and keeping it in Dallas and the Dallas-Fort Worth area next year. And then the year after that, and let's see, next year's 18 and 19, we're looking at moving it somewhere else. And we're looking at several different options. We're thinking out of Texas 1 year, the next year maybe somewhere in Texas but not in Dallas, and then maybe the next year in Dallas. So we kind of move it around like that, and then go back to a different state. So that's what we're thinking about. Nothing is set in stone, and that's why it's so important that you fill that survey out. But we feel very strongly that we need to do this. We need to start marketing our organization and letting people know who we are and what we do. And we need to let them know also about our high standards, and that each and every one of us, if we're members, we have gone through rigorous coursework and training to be certified in our area. And not just sitting for a test, but lots of work, and each and every one of you know exactly what I'm talking about because you've gone through it. So we want everybody else to know that we have very high standards, and maybe we can get Alta out there and market, and we're going to have some different ideas about that also. So that's what I wanted to say about the conference. Okay, at this time, Cherie has some things to tell us about our website that is new. So, Cherie Howell, if you'll come up now.
Good afternoon. Before I talk about the website, I wanted to thank my predecessor, Lexi Barefoot, over there, and also the webmaster, Don Dinnerville, that have helped me with the website, because what a task. But you may have noticed that earlier this year, we have completely updated and renovated the website. and to me, it just looks great. So that was the big news there. Some of the recent actions we've taken for the website, it has been encrypted for added security. That was something that had been talked about for a while, and we did manage to get that done. One thing you probably have noticed, the big thing was the 30th annual conference from last year. The videos have been added to the website, and they're available for purchase and for CEU opportunities. They're located under the members only section and then also temporarily located on the home page for easy navigation. The ALTA CEUs and video/DVD list has been updated. The trainee affiliate renewals page has been updated as appropriate for these members. And then we've also updated the CEU FAQs for 2017-18. Those are some recent actions that we've taken on the website. It's definitely something that's continually under construction. And if you have a suggestion or a thought, feel free to email me. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cherie. Thank you for all the hard work. You and Don have done a great job. And they copy me on every email, on everything they do, and they've worked very hard on that. We are also videotaping our speakers today, so hopefully we can offer these later as CEUs. It takes a lot of technical this and that to get everything going, and so I'm not even going to comment on how long it will be, but hopefully we'll be able to continue to do that. All right. The next person up is Joanne Handy, Vice President of Membership. This lady works continually. She has worked on CEUs. She's Vice President of Membership, and she's also the bylaws chair. So she just has a few things to do. We're looking for another job for her to take, too.
That's why I look tired. No. Good afternoon. Our membership, we currently, well, this is as of April 26 when I did my report, have 2,036 members. I would venture to say that that's going to grow by several hundred by the time we finish, because that's usually what happens. By April, we still have people who have not gotten everything in yet, so that will definitely grow. One of the areas that I'm proud of is that last year we approved the trainee affiliate level, and we have 21 members. So we are getting those trainee affiliates to join, which is good. Tim, who loves to work with numbers, did some research and looked at our growth from 2015 to 2017. And I wanted to share with you some states in which we had some significant growth. Mississippi, we went up by 79 members. Ohio, 58 members. Oklahoma, 26 members. Wisconsin, 31 members. And Texas, 219 members. So we have areas. Texas is always growing, which we love, but we love to also see that across the country we have areas that are growing. So that is wonderful. Get the word out there so that we continue to grow. As far as CEUs, I'd like to mention two things. We had some people panic when I sent out an email a couple of days ago reminding them that they were being audited and we hadn't gotten their information. What we're finding out from this email, which was a wonderful thing to find out, was that you were electronically uploading your certificates. Thank you for doing it that way. But at the very, very end, you have to click on a submit button. And if you don't, we don't get any of that information that you uploaded. So if you got one of those notices and you're thinking, and I got flooded with emails, and you're thinking, I know I did it, I uploaded it, just go back and run through the process again. Everything should be uploaded. You just need to hit that submit button so that it will go through. If not, you can email me or Maggie, and we will try to take care of you. If you haven't heard back from me yet and you did email me, it's because I've been on the road and trying to do it off of an iPad I gave up. So I will handle it on Monday morning when I get back. The other thing is, you know that every year we do a random audit. QIs and iCalps are automatically audited every year. We may not have used that word audit before, so they kind of panicked when I said audit. But then we do a random of the CALTs and the CALPs. Okay? It serves two purposes. One, to make sure you're getting your hours, but then we're also finding that sometimes you're thinking you've got your hours, but you went to something that was not ALTA approved. So just as a reminder, if an event you're going to doesn't already indicate that it's ALTA approved, please submit it to the CEU committee for approval 2 weeks before you go to the event, because I want you to get credit for what you attend, and we do very few denials. I mean, if we just don't know anything about the speaker or a conference and we research it online and we still don't feel comfortable, that's the only time we deny it. So you're in good shape there if you send it in for approval. Okay, yes, and if it's from an IMSLC approved training center, it's automatically approved, so you do not have to make a request for that. Okay, at this time I would like to recognize those members who have been ALTA members for 25 years and for 30 years. And Jana's going to help me out here. Yeah. You've got the folder right there and the admin. I'm starting with 25. Beginning with those who have been ALTA members for 25 years, which means they joined in 1992. Bless your hearts for staying with us all this time. Forgive me if I mispronounce a name. Nancy Badger, please come up to receive your certificate and pin, and we'll recognize everybody at the end. Linda Berg, Suzanne Cornelius, Katie Farmer, Mary Gilroy, Marlee Joins, Gwen Longino, Ann Prados, Ann Rogers, Lita Samuelson, Susan Shands, Martha Sibley, Ray Thompson, and Wendy Campbell. Let's give them all a big hand. No, those are 25, right? And about a third of those told me they weren't. Okay. Those who have been members for 30 years, which means they joined in 1987. Please come forward. Opal Andrews, Mary Jane Archer, Lexi Barefoot, Jana Curry, Betsy Day, Sandra Dillon, Mimi Grant, Gladys Ann Hamilton, Helen Masick, Stacy Mahurin, Patricia McHugh, Samantha Murphy, Kay Peterson, and Anita Taylor. Let's give them a big hand, please. I know quite a few of them emailed me, and thanked me for having the honor, but they couldn't attend. But they will be getting their certificate and pin in the mail. Okay, moving on to bylaws. At the very back of your conference brochure, you had the proposed bylaw changes. Okay, technically we are adding just one new membership level, and then we are changing and altering a second. Just to review quickly, the membership level that we would like to add is a retired level. To be eligible for that level, you would have to have been an ALTA member in good standing for at least 20 years or have reached the age of 65. You must no longer be providing services for pay as a therapist or practitioner. Okay. I wanted to share a couple of other things that would be in the policies and procedures for that are not listed in the bylaws themselves. Membership at this level will require you to place the word retired in parentheses after your credentials. So your credentials would remain the same. For example, CALT or CALP. And then after that, you would place retired in parentheses. Membership at this level does not require annual CEUs. But keep in mind, in some states, such as Texas, if you want to be licensed by the state, you have to have those CEUs. A member at this level may not vote or hold a position on the board of directors, but they may serve on committees. And currently we are looking at a membership level of $35 yearly. Any discussion on that one? Okay, the other part of the bylaws. Oh, okay. I know, Becky. You would still put down CALT-QI, okay, but because you're not getting CEUs, you really cannot practice as a certified therapist. Okay, that CEU factor is part of being a therapist. Yes, ma'am. Exactly. You wouldn't want to go to the retired level. You'd want to stay active. Okay. Any others? If you changed your mind later on, want to go, I don't see why not. You would just make up the difference in dues and get your CEUs. Mm-hmm. Right, and you'd have to verify with the board that you've gotten your CEUs. Okay, any others? Okay, the other part is the honorary membership, which we have always had. But what we have done is we've divided it and made it a little bit more formal with a application form. And the two parts would be those who are ALTA members, which currently all of our lifetime honorary members are ALTA members. But we may also want to recognize someone as an honorary member who is not an ALTA member. And just off the top of my head, I'm thinking like someone like Sally Shaywitz, who's not an ALTA member, but has definitely done immense good for the field of dyslexia. So that's what we're looking at with that level. Any questions about that? Okay, then at this time, do I have a motion to approve the bylaws, the proposed bylaws as written? Teresa Owens. Do I have a second? Karen Averett. Using your voting card, voting members, all those in favor, raise your cards. Okay, opposed? All right, the vote passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanne. And immediately after our general membership meeting, I would like for those 25-year pen recipient and 30-year pen recipients to meet over here to get a picture. So don't run off. All right, now we'll hear from Lynn Fitchew. She's the chair of the nominating committee.
I'd like to acknowledge the other members of the nominating committee this year. Members of the nominating committee, Karen Averett, Jean Kolner, Maureen Martin, and Marilyn Mathis. The nominating committee has presented the following slate of officers and directors found in your program book 30 days prior to this meeting. I will call the slate to the front. The swearing in will be conducted by ALTA President Jana Curry. Joyce Pickering, Vice President, Long Range Planning. Susan Luchin, Vice President, Public Relations. Jenny Little, Treasurer. The following will serve as Directors at Large: Paul Ensinger, Mary Lou Johnson, Michelle Kazi, Tammy Tillotson. I don't see anyone coming forward. I know you're here. Come on. And then directors continuing to serve their second terms: Joanne Handy, Vice President Membership, and Directors at Large, Rebecca Gould and Vicki King. I think right here. Okay. Let's thank them.
Okay, is that everyone? Where's Joyce? Joyce Pickering? She did? Okay. Thank you. Anybody else we're missing? Susan? There she is. Okay, anybody else? All right. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that you will strive to the best of your ability to carry out the duties and responsibilities of the office to which you've been elected, that you will uphold the Code of Ethics of the Academic Language Therapy Association, and that you will at all times endeavor to fulfill the highest personal and professional standards of which you are capable? Your response is, I will. I will. Then, by the authority vested in me by the Academic Language Therapy Association, I hereby declare you officially installed. Your duties and responsibilities begin today, May 5th, 2017. Congratulations. And we'll want to get your picture too, so don't go anywhere. And now we're going to have the presentation of the ALTA Awards by Karen Averett.
Thanks. Several years ago, I believe under the tutelage of Nancy Kaufman, when Nancy was president of ALTA, She came up with the idea of having three pieces of recognition every year, awards of noticeable people who have done noticeable things for this organization. One for educators, one for service, and one for leadership, and for the striving growth of this organization. So today we have those three awards here today, and I have two colleagues who are here to help present these awards. And so, Kay, do you want to go first? We'll begin with you.
Good afternoon. So it's my privilege to present the Aylett R. Cox ALTA Educator Award to Linda Sharp. This award is given to an individual who's made a significant impact in the lives of individuals with dyslexia. This year's recipient, Linda Sharp, is an educational diagnostician dedicated to providing evaluations to students and adults. She's certified by the Texas Education Agency. Her undergraduate studies were conducted at the University of Washington in Seattle and the University of Texas in Austin, where she received her degree in elementary education. She later received a master's degree from Texas A&M Commerce in special education. Postmaster's work was conducted in the doctoral program in the Department of Communication Disorders at the University of Texas at Dallas. Her career spans 3 decades, including 1 year as a regular education teacher with Dallas ISD and 29 years with the Highland Park ISD. Her positions in Highland Park included elementary education teacher, research for working as a special education teacher in grades 6 through 8, and educational diagnostician kindergarten through 12th grade. After retirement from public schools, Linda was named Assistant Director of Shelton Education Center in Dallas. For 5 years, she served on a team conducting dyslexia research for the Luke Waite Center for Dyslexia and Learning Disorders at Texas Scottish Rite Hospital. She's been an active member of the International Dyslexia Association and served as both Vice President and President of our Dallas branch. Linda's private diagnostic practice, Testing to Grow, was established over 20 years ago. She conducts psychoeducational evaluations for students ages 5 through adult. And it's with a great deal of appreciation and honor that we present this year's Aylett Royal Cox Award to Linda Sharp.
Thank you so very much. I'm so thrilled to be here. I'm very humbled and honored with this award. And I know that Aylett is looking down from heaven and is just thrilled to death to see all of you here. And I think you should all stay active. I don't think any of us need to retire. So that's just my philosophy. And, you know, I feel so blessed to be in this field. And every single day, I feel the passion that I have for it. And it hasn't diminished. It's actually been enhanced by the different things that I've been able to do. So I really appreciate, Aylett was, oh my goodness gracious, she was such a leader and such a teacher. I was so blessed. I was at Dean and worked under her and was taught there. And then my first student was at Hockaday when I was an academic language therapist. And so Aylett, the school, I know that the student wouldn't mind me telling this story. Her daughter's at Hockaday now. But anyway, she needed to be in academic language therapy, and she had never actually finished all the schedules. So Aylett wanted me to take over that case and work with her. And Hockaday said, we don't think she's going to make it. And so Aylett said, Linda, what we need to do is go with the parents and sit in the boardroom and convince Hockaday that she's going to make it if she's under your wing with alphabetic phonics therapy. So I was like, what? I was very, very young, and I was like, we're going to do what now? We're going to, okay. So that's what we did. And I was teaching then at Highland Park. So I went over to her house at 4:30 every afternoon, and we worked from the middle of the 8th grade to the end of her junior year at Hockaday. She then went on to the Chicago Art Institute and then graduated from the Kansas City Art Institute. She has 2 art studios here in Dallas. Pigment is the name of one of them. She's very, very well known in the field and very, very successful. And that was just a wonderful experience for me to learn from ALT and to be so passionate about what you guys are doing, because we know it makes a difference. And I've seen it over and over and over again. When I was at Highland Park, we used the Emslick-approved Slingerland program. And we knew, as regular ed teachers, and we knew, and I knew as a diagnostician, that if I had a student in the high school that was struggling with reading, I was almost 100% sure they had not gone through our elementary schools. I was almost always right about that, because we taught with a phonics-based approach, multi-sensory presentation, sequential. So I'm very proud to be part of what you guys believe in. I even see some of my other teachers from Scottish Rite and Dean here, and it's amazing. And I don't think I just don't think you're going to get anyone to go through that retirement thing. I really don't. And I also love your website. It is so user-friendly, because you used to have a directory. And we would look through there, because I send a lot of families to you guys. So now the parents can just click on there, and I've started using it this week, and I told the parents about it because they were in Midlothian. So I had no earthly idea what to do or how to find somebody. And ALTA is there for you, and it's growing. And I'm very, very encouraged about this. So keep up your great work. Testing to Grow. My practice is actually growing, and we're getting ready to affiliate with Girls to Women Clinic, Young Men's Health and Wellness, in Dallas, and perhaps also in the new one in Fort Worth. We have our own practice. I have my own practice in Carrollton behind Hebron High School. And then we're also affiliating with McKinney Christian Academy too, which we're very proud of that. So thank you so much. And I'm just honored, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Hang in there. Good job.
It's such an honor for me to get to talk about Karen Vickery. I probably, if she's not able to be here today, and if you get a chance, just be sure and congratulate her. The Jamie G. Williams ALTA Founders Award was established to honor an individual who has made a significant contribution to the organization. This year's recipient, Dr. Karen Vickery, is a leader and a role model who has been dedicated in the establishment and promotion of ALTA as an organization. She received her Bachelor's of Elementary Education and Master's in Reading from Arkansas State University. She later continued her studies at East Texas State University, now Texas A&M Commerce, and she received her doctorate in Supervision, Curriculum, and Instruction. She attended Dean Learning Center in the early 80s under the tutelage of Alec Cox, Margaret Smith, and Edith Hogan. Wow, what a group. Karen is a certified academic language therapist, a qualified instructor, and a licensed dyslexia therapist with the state of Texas. She began her teaching career in Missouri. She moved on to Arkansas and then wound up in Royce City and then in Greenville ISD. And that's where my relationship with Karen began, and it has not slowed down since. She taught in the public school for over 35 years. In 2001, she retired from Texas Public Schools but continued to work part-time for the Greenville Independent School District as the 504 District Coordinator and Reading Coordinator for Special Programs, as a Certified Academic Language Therapist, a Qualified Academic Language Teacher Trainer, Dyslexia Coordinator, and Test Coordinator for the Dyslexia Program. Now, does that sound like part-time to you? Somebody needs to tell her about that. Karen began working with the Learning Therapy Program at Southern Methodist University in 1999. She became the director of Southern Methodist University's Learning Therapy Program for the Simmons School of Education and Human Development in 2001, and she continues in that role today. Under her direction, the SMU program has been accredited by MSLC in both teaching and therapy levels and instructor training at both levels. Karen has been married to Jim Vickery for 49 years this year. She has 2 brothers and 1 sister, and they've all recently relocated to Arkansas. Karen currently serves as Vice President, President-elect for the Academic Language Therapy that's not exactly correct. For ALTA, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to correct in my head and talk at the same time, and it's not working. She's chair of the Academic Language Therapy Association Foundation Scholarship Committee. She serves as chair of the College and University Committee and is former president, vice president, president-elect, treasurer, and executive committee member for MSLC. She is former president, treasurer, and an executive committee member of the Alliance for Accreditation and Certification of Structured Language. Dr. Vickery is a member of the International Dyslexia Association, and she serves on the Dallas Branch IDA Advisory Board. She was appointed by Governor Perry to the Dyslexia Interim Study Committee in December of 2009. It is with great appreciation and honor that we present this year's Jamie G. Williams ALTA Founders Award to Dr. Karen Vickery. Thank you. I am. Since Karen is not here, I'm accepting the honor for her. I said, Karen, what would you like for me to say? And she said, oh, just talk. Okay. I look out among you, and I see very few people that in one way or another, Karen has not impacted your life. Karen changed my life. Because working with her in Greenville, I got real nosy about what they were doing in those classrooms. So I would leave every chance I got to go to Karen's room and just watch her. And that's all it took. So thank you, ALTA, and thank you, Karen Vickery.
It is my privilege today to present the Luke Waits ALTA Award of Service, given to someone who has made a significant contribution to improve services received by dyslexic individuals, to Dr. Tim Odegaard. Tim finished his BA in psychology at Hendrix College and received his MA in experimental psychology at the University of Arkansas. I'm beginning to see a He continued on at the University of Arkansas to receive his PhD in experimental psychology in 2004. And seeking information about dyslexia and remediation, Tim went through therapist training at Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children from 2005 to 2007. During that same time, part of the requirements is that you have to have a class of students. So Tim set up a classroom of students at the university where he had kids come to him before school. And so there's a list of all of Tim's wonderful accreditation, his information about what all he has done. But I have a few other things to tell you. I jokingly, Tim is also my husband's name, and so when Tim calls me at work, he'll often say, "This is Tim, her son, not her husband," because when we took Tim on in 2005, he was but a child who had a brilliant wife, and together they have blessed the hospital in many, many ways. But they've also been blessed with, if you are around Tim very long, his pride and joy of his life, which is Jude. And it is, you want to talk about a chip off the old block? I mean, that kid is amazing. But let me just tell you a little bit about Tim's training. On day 1, of course, you talk about English base words. And we talked about that English base words never end in I. So the following day, Dr. Odegaard comes walking into class with a laundry list of words that end in I. And I said, perhaps you didn't hear the English base word part of that, which gave me one indication of what we had to look forward to for the next 2 years. During his training, there were 2 gentlemen in the class. And as you can see, that's not common to have 2 gentlemen in the class. But I, at that time, had a saying about when the girls would start whining, "This is hard, put on your big girl panties and get over it." And I would say that without even thinking. And Tim and Ed would just look at me and shake their head. And at the end of the year, the girls in the class presented Tim and Ed with big girl panties, of which Tim put on over his clothes and modeled for us. I think I could make money with those probably now that he is, all grown up. But finally, and most importantly, when Tim first came to visit with us, he met with Dr. Black and Jerry Ring and I, and he started talking to us about why he was there. And he was interested in eye movement and dyslexia. And he wanted to talk about scanning and looking at where things were going. And he asked about working with therapist training. And Jeff looked at me like, Dr. Black was like, "You want to work with, in therapist training? Because here he is, a professor at a university." And we were like, "You want to go through therapist training?" And he did. And he went through with a group of teachers. Tim learned a lot about education during that year because the teachers helped him. And on the last day of class, when we have graduation, at that time, we allowed each therapist who was graduating to speak. And Tim came in late to graduation. All the therapists who were graduating were lined up on the front row. Tim went to the back of the auditorium and sat down. And I went through all the rest of the therapists, and they all spoke. And then I looked at Tim and I said, "Do you have anything to say?" And he said, "Yes, I do." And he came down front and he had this giant, and I'll try not to cry, but he had this giant picture frame. And he gave it to me and we ripped it off and looked at it. And it was our first fMRI brain study of Take Flight and the difference that it makes in the kids as Take Flight is being used with them. And he looked at the women in the class and the audience, and he said, "I want you to know you're not just teachers. You are truly brain surgeons because you make a difference in what's happening in that child's brain." And then he went on to tell us that it wasn't just those children, but it was children like he and his sister who were both also dyslexic. And so why he cherished so much the opportunity to go through the training that he went through and to work with the children that he worked with, which is where you truly know that you gain the information. So Tim became our hero, and he has worked with this organization tirelessly. I mean, to be able to pull off a keynote speaker in 24 hours is pretty impressive. I just got to tell you. So we are so thankful and so glad to have him as a part of this organization and to recognize the work that he has done, just like the work that Dr. Waits did, the work that Dr. Black does, those that went before him. And he's now here to kind of carry our torch. He knows what we do. He speaks our language, and that is so important. So it is with great honor and a great deal of respect that we present this year's Luke Waits Award of Service to one of our own, Tim Odegaard.
Thank you so much. So I got the email from Karen when she was emailing me because I was dealing with all this stuff. This is a really heavy thing. I was dealing with all of the conference stuff, and so she's like, have you decided when and where all the people that are going to get the awards are going to be? And I said, I don't know. I don't think that's my job. And she wrote back and said, she's like, I think it's yours. And so she immediately says, congratulations. And then it was just like this letter attached. So I wrote back and said, do you really want me to cry in public? Is that what this is all about? So I had to try to keep myself composed. I've actually composed just a little words here. It's very humbling to read through the names of those who have received this award before me. I've had the great privilege of working alongside most of these individuals. They are my wonderful friends, my colleagues, and in some cases, my mentors. And I will miss the individuals on this list who are no longer with us. As I reflect on these remarkable individuals and on the life of the individual whose memory we honor with this award, I feel, and I've scratched out many different words here, but it's disrespectful to say that I don't really deserve this award, although I don't really feel like I do. I feel very overwhelmed. Let's be very clear about something. This award is not all about me. It's all about the people who we honor with this award and in the memory of Dr. Lucius Waits and the example that he set through his service. We honor him once a year at this conference to remind ourselves of how much we can accomplish when we humble ourselves in the service of others. And each year we pause for a moment to remember and honor the service of Dr. Waits. As I do so, I'm reminded of his candor. He shared, scared laughing. He shared the reality, very honestly, of dyslexia with others. There are children who, for no fault of their own, struggle to read words. For Dr. Waits, this was a simple truth, and one that he shared simply and tirelessly with others. So in honor of Dr. Waits and of those who have received this award before me, I will continue to share simply with others the truth that those before me worked so very hard to illuminate. And as I do so, I will keep their light shining on that one simple truth. There are individuals who, for no fault of their own, struggle to read words. And I will do so in part because the lights of Dr. Waits, Dr. Richardson, and my friend Joe Polk will never be extinguished as long as there are people like us who commit ourselves to following their examples and discovering new truths that we can illuminate for the future generations. Yet let us also remember that dyslexia is real. And although we do not know what fundamentally causes it, that does not diminish the impact of the reality of dyslexia on those of us who have that slight brain processing difference that makes reading words a challenge for us. I thank you for all that you do for those of us who have that slight difference. Thank you very much for your service.
Wow, to have to follow that. I believe that this will be the end, the conclusion of our business meeting. So what? Right. First, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. This meeting is adjourned.